Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Math with Mr. Massey. Today what we're looking at is equivalent expressions. So I have a couple different examples because of different ways that we can show equivalent expressions. So if I have 4x plus 9, that's the same as 9 plus 4x. With this specific example, it does not matter the order it goes as long as I'm making sure I bring whether it's a positive or a negative along with it. Now for this one, you can see I have a negative 6 plus 8w. So if I want to make that equivalent, I would have to do 8w because there's a positive 8w there, and then I bring the negative 6 over. So negative 6 plus 8w is the same as 8w minus 6. Now, if I want to use the distributive property, anything on the outside of the parentheses, I have to multiply each term that is on the inside of the parentheses. So I'm multiplying that 3 times z and the 3 times 6. So I would do my 3 times z plus my 3 times 6. And if I multiply 3 times z, I get 3z plus 3 times 6, I know is 18. So I know that 3 parentheses z plus 6 is equal to 3z plus 18. Now if I were to do it by factoring, I put in a box GCF, which stands for greatest common factor. So I have to figure out what's the greatest common factor between 15 and 35. It has to be bigger than 1, obviously. So I know that they both end in a 5, so I know for a fact 5 would be a common factor. So let's see if it's the greatest common factor. So let's do 5 on the outside of the parentheses. And then I have to do 5 times what gets me 15y. So I know 5 times 3 gets me 15, and I need to make sure I carry that y along because that's my variable in this specific example. Now I have a minus sign, so I'm going to make sure I'm subtracting. Now I have 5 times what gets me 35. Well, I know that to be 7. Then I close my parentheses. So that means 15y minus 35 equals 5 parentheses 3y minus 7. So those are some quick examples on how we can do equivalent expressions by just changing around the order with these two examples, using the distributive property with this example, and factoring it out with this example, making sure we're using the greatest common factor.